As I record this, Iran has just launched a massive drone attack towards the state of Israel. The drones have not landed yet, but the preparations are on ground in Israel to defend itself against this attack. And the United States president has cut short his vacations to come and deal with this new crisis in the Middle East. The media, at least, are reporting it as a retaliatory strike or a revenge strike. So let's talk about why was it necessary for the state of Israel on April 1 to destroy the Iranian Consulate in Damascus, and why at that time was it absolutely necessary to do that. I will hazard a few opinions about this. These opinions are based in my analysis of the situation, and that's how I hope you will take them. So first of all, Israel has not claimed publicly the responsibility of striking the Iranian consulate in Damascus, but it is understood that they are the ones who bombed it, destroying the consulate building and killing 7 people, including some senior officers from Iranian armed forces. There was no strategic reason for Israel to do that. Israel's fight is with Iranian proxy Hezbollah, and it's not like these people sitting in a consulate were masterminding Hezbollah's tactics. There was no imminent threat from the consulate, and the Iranian consulate was a protected space under international law. What else was happening at that time, right? Because of Israeli atrocities in Gaza and their exposure to the world, their own allies were strictly speaking to the Israeli government to allow more aid. There was more pressure on the state of Israel, even from United States, including President Biden. This one bombing now, if you look at the world today, suddenly France has given a statement in solidarity with the state of Israel. England has given a statement, so has United States, right? So suddenly the narrative has shifted from Israel being in trouble diplomatically for being held accountable for their atrocities in Gaza to becoming yet again a victim of aggression by Iran. So, with my limited understanding, if I were to analyze why Israel went and destroyed a consular building, killing Iranian citizens, the only plausible reason for me is to draw their allies close together and to draw Iran into a direct confrontation, and hence also draw United States in a war or warlike situation, which is not necessarily a US war, but US will have to enter it in the name of their ally, Israel. Now, if I was cynical, I would call it a brilliant strategy, right? Because how else do you manipulate your allies into regrouping alongside of you? Now, this does not mean that atrocities in Gaza have stopped. Actually, things are escalating. In West Bank right now, the settlers are burning villages in the occupied West Bank because tragically, a Jewish teenager was murdered. We don't know who murdered it. but the people in the villages close to Hebron and that area are collectively being punished now by the settlers. And the Israeli armed forces, of course, are doing nothing to stop it. So things are still worse on ground. Atrocities are still happening in Gaza and in the West Bank, but suddenly Israel can now reclaim that it's being victimized because now Iran is attacking them. When they bombed the consulate, I have looked through the internet, there was no condemnation from the United States or anyone else saying we should not bomb embassies and consulates. The only thing that came out of the White House was we didn't know about it. So I don't know what will unfold. I mean, technically, Iran doesn't have the aerial capacity to actually wage a war with State of Israel. And I hope this escalation doesn't harm more civilians either in Israel or in Iran. But for right now, once again, it seems that the leaders of the Western world have forgotten about the killing of the aid workers, the destruction of the Al-Shifa hospital, the more than 33,000 killings in Gaza, the 1 million people who are still starving because suddenly we are now worried about this possible war scenario between State of Israel and Iran, which was initiated, let's never forget, by an action, illegal action, and destruction of Iranian Consulate in Damascus. By the laws of war and international law, Iran has the right to retaliate against an attack on what is technically their territory in Damascus. And Iran has a right to hold Israel accountable. Whether they do it by law or in war, that's their option. Well, what I wanted to point out today is that these things, if you just look at it in essentialist terms, in stereotypical terms, you could just brush it aside. Oh, Iran, irrational and all that. This is the first time Iran has retaliated directly against State of Israel, right? And part of the reason is that they were drawn into it. I still don't believe that targeting civilian populations is right. I think it is wrong. But we have to train ourselves to look at these international events as they unfold and not look at them with stereotypes in mind, but rather with seeing, okay, who started it and why, and where is it leading us? Will it lead United States to yet another war-like situation, which is caused not by United States actions, but by the action of an ally? An ally who constantly keeps producing more and more problems for United States and who doesn't even listen to the US president, even in the case of humanitarian aid. So, part of me is sad because having fought a war, I have no sympathy for any kind of warmongering. But part of me also wants to be here at this historical moment, pointing out that these things are complex and we should not look at it in simplistic terms as a victim and an aggressor, but rather, how is it that that aggression was initiated? and masterminded to some extent. So that's all I wanted to share about this latest escalation in the region of Middle East. I hope the world leaders can sit together and find a lasting, peaceful solution and a dignified solution for the state of Palestine and for the Palestinian people. And I hope that Israelis get out of this mentality in which the Palestinians to them don't even come across as fully human. And maybe if they recognize each other as fully human, sharing the same space, maybe we could have peace, a dignified peace. That's all. Thank you so much. Stay safe, take care of each other, and peace and love.